Okay, get ready for a mind bender. What if I told you that the space all around you and the time that you feel ticking by aren't actually real? Not fundamental, anyway. What if they're just effects, kind of an illusion, bubbling up from something way, way deeper? Well, a wild new paper is proposing exactly that. It suggests our entire reality is built on a universe of spirals. For more than 100 years, physics has kind of had this split personality. It stands on two amazing pillars. On one side, you've got Einstein's general relativity. It's beautiful, it's elegant, and it perfectly describes gravity, planets, galaxies, the really big stuff. Then on the other side, you've got quantum mechanics, which is the weird, wonderful, and incredibly accurate set of laws for atoms and particles, the super tiny stuff. They are both absolute champs in their own arenas. But here's the problem. They don't really talk to each other. They just don't get along. And that leads us to the biggest, most frustrating question in all of physics. What's the real story here? Most theories imagine that space-time is this fixed background, like a blank canvas that the universe gets painted on. But this new idea asks a really provocative question. What if the canvas is actually part of the painting? And this is where a new paper by researchers Yu and Liang storms onto the scene. They're suggesting that if we really want to unify physics, we need to do something incredibly drastic. We need to throw out our most basic assumptions. Forget space, forget time, even forget mass as we know it. We have to rebuild our idea of reality completely from the ground up. So the hero of this new story is something they call the spiral function. And get this, it's not based on coordinates or clocks or any of the stuff we're used to. It's built on just two incredibly simple ideas. First, you have rotational phase, which is just a fancy way of asking what's the angle of the spin. And second, you have something called chirality. All that means is handedness. Is it a lefty or a righty? Is it spinning left or is it spinning right? And that's it. Seriously, they propose that everything we see and experience comes from just those two things. Right, so you're probably wondering, okay, how in the world do you get a whole universe from just spin and direction? Well, the authors give us this amazing mental picture. They ask us to imagine the universe not as this empty box with things floating in it, but as a vast, swirling, cosmic energy typhoon. In this kind of universe, everything we see, a particle, a planet, it's not a separate thing floating in the ocean. It is the ocean. It's like a whirlpool, or a knot, or a complex wave pattern in this fundamental sea of energy. And the properties of that little whirlpool, like how intense it is or which way it's spinning, well, that's what we perceive as particles and forces. So in this view, concepts we think of as solid, like time and space, they aren't fundamental at all. They emerge from how these spirals behave. It's like this. A single H2O molecule isn't wet, right? But you get a whole bunch of them together, and suddenly you have the property of wetness. It emerges from the group. This theory says space and time are just like that. So, how does it work? Well, here's how they connect the dots. The theory says that the steady, repeating rhythm of that rotational phase, that's what our brains experience as the passage of time. Then you take the chirality, that left or right-handedness of the spin, and you combine it with the rhythm, and boom, that combination maps out the three-dimensional space we live in. And mass? Mass isn't something a particle has anymore. It's an effect. It's what happens when the energy of that spiral gets super, super concentrated. And here's the kicker. When you combine all these emergent properties, you can mathematically derive the good old wave function that's at the heart of quantum mechanics. It just pops out. Of course, any new theory, especially one this bold, has to go up against the undisputed heavyweight champion of physics, Einstein's general relativity. And let me tell you, this paper does not pull any punches. It draws some very, very clear battle lines. The differences here are just fundamental. In Einstein's universe, space-time is a passive stage. It's there before anything happens. But in the spiral theory? Nope. Space-time is an active, dynamic actor that emerges from the field itself. For Einstein, mass is a fixed property of an object that tells space-time how to curve. In this new view, mass is a dynamic effect of concentrated energy. It isn't just the cause of the curvature, it is the curvature. So you can boil it all down to three huge conflicts. First, is space-time a passive stage, or is it an active participant in the cosmic play? Second, is mass a fundamental property that something has, or is it an emergent effect of something happening? And finally, this is a big one. Can a theory based on purely local rules, like Einstein's, ever really describe a universe that might be governed by a single interconnected global pattern? This new theory bets that the answer is no. Okay, so let's just go with it for a minute. If we take this paper seriously, what does the universe actually look like? What is the ultimate reality that it's describing?
This right here is the biggest perspective shift of all. We are not objects moving through a universe made of a spiral field. No, the universe is the dynamic, swirling, evolving field. We, and everything else we see, are simply patterns within it. The universe isn't a container. It's the content.
And hey, this isn't just some beautiful philosophical idea. This is hard science with hard math. The theory makes real, concrete, testable predictions. For instance, by treating particles like little stable whirlpools or solitons in this energy ocean, the paper actually derives a specific mathematical formula for the fundamental ground state mass of a particle. It offers a potential reason for why particles have the masses they do.
Which brings us right back to our three fundamental building blocks. You've got the amplitude of the spiral, which defines its energy intensity. You've got the phase, which gives us its rotational rhythm. And you've got the chirality, which sets its direction. According to this theory, these three simple parameters are the entire Lego set you need to build all of reality.
This vision of a dynamic, completely interconnected reality that emerges from simple rotation, it's a breathtakingly bold attempt to paint a new picture of the cosmos. And it leaves all of us with one last fascinating question to chew on. If the universe truly is a single, unified ocean of swirling energy, what does that make you, the person observing it all? Are you just another complex whirlpool looking out at the storm you're a part of? Now that is a thought.